Going live.
It says we're live.
Okay. Morning, Facebook. Welcome to the second episode of the Stepback. Here is Leon Tompkins, your host, joined by Jacob Moses and our faceless friend Felipe Melecio.
Hey, I like how you pronounce my last name. That's how I would pronounce my last name. Thank you, Leon.
Oh, thank you. No problem. You got on the first try.
Yes, that's what you're hosting.
Last week we touched on the All-Star game and its events. Figure we bring in our good friend of many faces, man of many hats, Chicago native, Felipe Melecio.
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm so honored to be on this show today. I'm always down to talk some fantasy hoops. I wanted to do a fantasy podcast, but it's like you said, too many hats, too many faces. I'm so glad you guys are picking up the torch, brother, and running away with this as you guys become the faces of Ballless Life Facebook group. So I thank you for that, and congratulations on getting your admin wings with the initiation of the podcast. You guys have done an excellent job promoting the group and initiating conversation, and you guys epitomize what this group should be, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for continuing to put in the work there.
Thank you for having us, letting us do it, man. This is something we, like I said, put our heads together. We wanted to do it. Leon was like, Jake, you think you can do it? It's like, I can dedicate an hour or so out of my time to talk basketball, and the rest is going to be history.
Awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just so thankful, you guys allowing us to do it and, initiate conversation and get this going. So with the All-Star game in Chicago, we know you're a Chicago native.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Knicks fan, 20 years of misery. Bulls fan, you got a lot in common. What are your thoughts on the state of the Chicago Bulls?
Well, I had a poem just for Jacob, right here. So if I may allow me to read it. All right, hold on a minute. All right, and it starts like this. Who can set the court on fire? Only the Bulls. Keep them burning with desire. Only the Bulls. Who could bring another title here? Who can thrill them, chill them, make them jump up and cheer? Only the Bulls. Only the Bulls. Only the one and only Chicago Bulls. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's pretty nice, huh? That would have worked in the early 90s, but
that was actually a fight song that they created. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it before.
I've never heard it. That's pretty. I'm not even gonna lie. That was pretty good. And plus, that used to get me hyped. I'm like, they had that little fight song.
Yeah.
Bulls. That used to get me when they wasn't playing the Knicks. That was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, and that's nostalgia at its best right there. That they still play the Alan Parsons songs. I mean, you guys could hear that song whenever on it's a real actual song. For those who don't know, it's from the 70s or something. But yeah, they still play it, and it doesn't have that same luster like it did before. I'm all for them changing that introduction. So because and that starting guard Zach LaVine, yay! But in the 90s, it was from North Carolina, 6'6", your shooting guard, Michael Jordan, and the house would erupt. And 90s basketball was Bulls versus Knicks, Sunday afternoon television with Marv Albert calling it.
Yes.
Yeah. That brings me back. Wait, what was the question? Oh, the state of the Bulls? Is that what you were asking me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the Bulls. All right. This would be rebuilding project number umpteenth. I lost count after Michael Jordan left, but this is like the umpteenth. This is like Plan Z. I remember at a time when Plan B was to trade away Elton Brand and go with Tyson Chandler and Eddie Curry, and now we're on Plan Z, I believe. It's been already 20 years, and I know there was that stretch run with the Baby Bulls with Derrick Rose and them guys, Ben Gordon, Joakim Noah, Luol Deng, that core that kind of brought the excitement back, and then we're back to another rebuild. I mean, I've always been very adamant. I love this young roster. It's probably one of my favorite rosters since the Baby Bulls from the late 2000s when Rose came on board. This is probably one of my favorite rosters, but boy, are they brutal to watch. They're dumb as rocks. They're very stupid, poorly coached, piss poor coach, poorly run front office. The only solace I take with this team, guys, is that at least I know that come draft time, they're going to pick someone that can play. Lauri Markkanen, Wendell Carter Jr., and I'm missing a guy. Oh, and Kobe White. This year I'm expecting them to get the number 7 pick overall again. So that will be 4 consecutive 7 picks in a row because it's the Bulls' luck, which is ironic because number 7 is usually a lucky number. But I don't know. I don't know what they could do. Maybe it's time to trade Levine. Maybe it's Lauri Markkanen doesn't want to be here anymore, so maybe it's time to trade him away as well. You're stuck with the coach because they inexplicably signed him to a long-term deal. Gar Forman, John Paxson are going to still be here because Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner, is too loyal. So this time I'm going to transition to Jacob here, though. I mean, we have on one hand with the Bulls, we have a very loyal owner. I know with John Dolan, this is why I always tell people, at least we're not the Knicks. John Dolan's a fucking maniac. I'm sorry, but that guy's a lunatic. Jacob, how far away am I from that assessment?
No, you're right on. Actually, he is a lunatic. James Dolan's problem is, we can have something good going, and then he sticks his nose into it. I'll run it back to, the pre-Melo, and I won't lie, Melo's one of my favorite, but I didn't want him under the circumstances that he wanted it to happen at. Let's trade Gallinari, Felton, Chandler. I mean, Mozgov at the time. All of a sudden, let's trade him. Oh, you get this done, or Melo. I'll go back into it, but let's get it done so we can get a star player to go with Amari. And all they did was basically clog up the floor. Yeah. And the thing about it, and nobody talks about, that Amari pretty much was the MVP of that season because he carried the team on his back before Melo came. And they were actually fun to watch. We saw Gallinari coming into his own. Felton was a really good point guard. I hate to say this about UNC guards. Kobe White I can't stand too, but he's a good player. But but you had him going. Chandler was coming along. I mean, they had a really good team to watch. And then for him to do it, he just flexed his muscles, or it has to get done. And poof, there we go. We got 1 playoff appearance out of it. Well, maybe 2 if I can remember. But, we had a 54-win season in 2012-13.
Yeah.
And then it went all downhill from there. The whole Jeremy Lin, that was nice little. We always had nice little spots, but it always was messed up by some kind of ownership issue. Donnie Walsh, he came in as a GM, and he was great. I mean, he had a good basketball mind. That's the one thing Dolan needs, a great basketball mind that's around the game, that can understand the game, and you can sit up and make your money. Obviously, the Knicks, once again, one of not even one of the most, most expensive franchise in the league, and we're losing 40, even 50 games. I'm like, it's not fun. It's not fun to watch. But we have the young guys like Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox. I'm going to give him 1 more year before I start, saying get him out of here. Frank is good, but I think he's more of an off guard. He's not a playmaker. I'm sorry. Alfred Payton is outplaying him by just hands down. It's not even close. My man RJ, that's a nice little building block. Trey, I don't know what they're doing with him. They ruined him already. And it's just a lot of work to do. I will say they need that playmaker or some kind of start. Not an old agent. So I'm talking about maybe like a Bradley Beal to get, so you can slide RJ into that small forward role, which I think he can play well. But it's a lot of work to do. But he is a psycho. It's it's not good to see. It's pretty disheartening. But I continue to watch every night. It's been a long time since the Knicks and the Bulls actually head to head. Yes, the Bulls had all of the success. I mean, I say most, all of the success with MJ, but it was always fun to watch. It was always hard nosed.
Yeah.
The games were just amazing. The energy, Ewing, MJ going at it, Oakley and Grant going at it. I mean, Harper and Harper actually a few times.
Yeah. Derek Harper versus Ron Harper.
It was fun. John Starks, Pippen, getting each other's faces. It was fun. It was fun to watch. But this now it's pretty bad.
I got my own little beef with you. This goes back to 2013, that playoff series, the Nets. Game 4, Nets go in the fourth quarter up 14 under 3 minutes to go, and Nate Robinson decides he wants to go off. They lose that game in triple overtime. Bulls go up in the series 3-1, and they lose Game 7 in Brooklyn. Reggie Evans grabs about 20 rebounds. Brooke Lopez, Darren Williams, and the cast of characters lose to the Bulls. It was a 4-5 game. The Nets had the home court advantage, and that was the last time they were actually pretty decent. But the Nets were favored in that series. Nate Robinson, of all people, decided to go off.
Yes, Nate.
Oh, and God, I believe he got a 2-year, $6 million contract for his efforts with the Nuggets, I believe, if I remember correctly. And then we never heard from him ever again. But Bulls fans were in love with little Nate Robinson, and I go, why? He's just a scrub. But I mean, it goes back to what we talked about, that little pocket of success, right? And that was under Tom Thibodeau, who was infamously known for just making undersized guards into bigger than life phenomenons here in the city. So consider Nate Robinson just that continuation of that. Your Gennaro Pargos, your John Lucas thirds. Like, if you're under 6 feet tall, Tom Thibodeau's gonna want you on his team.
The Chris Duhans.
Oh man.
Well, Duhan was a first round draft pick. I mean, these other guys I'm talking about, they came out of nowhere. They just were scrap iron, and then here comes Thibodeau. Hey, can you play defense? All right, you're my 6-man guard. Because Thibodeau's all about defense, right? Like,
absolutely.
That's why Thibodeau for many years was very frustrating to. Listen, and we talked about this with Jacob. Amazing coach. I love Thibodeau, but he is stubborn as a rock. He, if the NBA was the NFL, where he can call the plays every single time, the way the NFL head coaches do with the headsets and all that, I think he would thrive on offense. But no, he can only call so many timeouts, right? So, and everything else is just centered around defense first, and we'll see what happens on offense. And that's why for many years the Bulls were like one of the worst offensive geared teams in the NBA. Like when everybody was scoring 100 points at one point, I believe the Bulls were the only team who were struggling to get over 95 points. At one point we had Joakim Noah as our best offensive player because of all the injuries. And no, you don't want that to happen. That's not the way it works. So, and that doesn't even include all the stuff that goes like outside the court. Like the way he is with people. Because it's a team effort. It's not just the players, but it's also management. It's also the personnel, the secretaries, all the people that make your NBA team what it is. It's a community thing, and he's awful with everybody involved. So that's what you're expecting to get if the Knicks decide to get. So, I mean, I guess he fit perfectly because James Dolan seems to be the same type of person. But I don't know. I just don't see it, especially in today's NBA where everything's run and gun and everybody wants to shoot either 3-pointers or get to the basket. There's no mid-range game anymore. So that's my only concern about Thibodeau ever going to any NBA team at this point, I guess.
Yeah, I hear he's been rumored for a bunch of jobs, but you're right. Unless he changes his ways, I don't see how anyone's going to hire him because he's going to run a young team into the ground. So,
and that's why I kind of I love Tibbs because he's come from the Knicks. He's one of the coaches, and what happened with him in Minnesota, like he ran everybody into the ground. Wiggins, but it's hard to. Well, it's not really hard to explain. They play like wussies. It was. That's how it. No, he's that kind of motivational coach that you need for a young team, somewhat to a point. But you also have to let the kids grow. He did play a lot of vets. He was big into playing vets, and but Minnesota just didn't work. But with the Knicks, I would rather keep Miller around because he's done player development in the G League, and you need some kind of coach with that. But he has been playing more vets than young guys, which is really weird. Because, yes, if Knox is going to suck, let him suck. Let him go play his 20, 30 minutes a game and see what he can do. Because you can't develop with everybody sitting on the bench besides RJ and even Mitch. Mitch is coming off the bench. They had Taj Gibson. He's the one starting, basically starting at center now.
What I say? I mean,
yeah, you can't do that. You can't develop like that. We're gonna fall into the same predicament we've been in for the past 20-something years. You try to develop, you get tired of it after a year, and then you're done. But I'd rather keep Miller and go from there. At least give him a year. But with Leon Rose coming in, you know how CAA, they operate. It's their guys only, and that's how they're going to hire. But I'm not going to make any judgments on it until I see it. He hasn't even taken the job yet. I think he has to cut ties with CAA and all that kind of stuff, and we'll see where it goes. But, oh my God, Philippe, how did you get my guy Kirk Heinrich? That was my dude. How?
What, during the draft, the 2003 draft?
Yes, man, my man Kirk Heinrich.
Next player available, man. He was the best of that very talented draft class that year. But yeah, little known fact about Kirk Heinrich, I believe he was either the first player of that draft or the only player of that draft to get a triple-double that season in his rookie year.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's how crazy it was back in 2003, where that's a low-pace NBA, and not, nobody's running and gunning like they're doing today. Yeah. And consider who's out there. Dwayne Wade as a rookie, LeBron James as a rookie, Carmelo Anthony as a rookie, Darko Milicic as a rookie. I'll let that one simmer right there.
Yeah.
But Kirk Heinrich is the guy who gets the triple-double, so... But no, and that's your typical John Paxson pick right there. Upperclassman, safe, nothing too exciting. But then again, I think, yeah, he was the right pick at that time of that 2003 draft.
Yeah, you guys needed a point then, and it wasn't bad.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then it, he was a very good player for a very long time. Just the perfect the glue guy, I guess, for lack of a better term. He was it right there, and at the end, it didn't, it didn't end too well for him because of all the injuries. It seemed like he was injured all the time. But man, I mean, he just he's a soldier, man. And here's who the Bulls missed out on. If they wouldn't have drafted Kirk Heinrich, T.J. Ford was available. Michael Sweetney, Jarvis Hayes, Michael Petrus. Should I go on? I mean, he was.
That's pretty good company right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he would end up being with the Bulls too, Michael Sweetney. So we ended up getting. What? I'm sorry. What?
Oh, I remember.
We came 25 pounds overweight in the camp.
Bro, I remember. I watched the Bulls game at the United Center, and there's Michael Sweetney, and I'm looking, from the nosebleed section. I'm looking down at the Bulls bench, and who the hell is that big ass statue? And it's Michael Sweetney. Michael Sweetney? Golly, he looks like the Kool-Aid man. Seriously.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was rough to watch.
Jeez, and it's and it's like it continues to be a problem. It's like all these NBA players, they get to the NBA and they says, "Oh, well, I'm getting paid now, and I'm not even playing, so I'm not even gonna try." I'm wondering how much money he made, but anyway, I'll look that up. Is there another? Are we still doing this Knicks versus Bulls thing?
No.
Do we agree that they're both crappy teams?
Oh, yeah, they're god awful.
Absolutely, I'm with you.
So, I have my All-Star jersey back from when they were here in New York at Barclays Center in 2015. How does it feel to have the All-Star festivities in Chicago since '88?
Well, you know me, man. I'm like very blasé about things. Nothing gets me excited anymore. I mean, it's pretty cool, but it's also under the cloud that the Bulls suck, and that people were more excited to see Derrick Rose coming back than actually seeing the Bulls players perform at this All-Star festivities. And then Derrick Rose, I don't know what happened to him. He hurt his feelings. I don't know. He's a very sensitive guy, and or maybe he wanted to go Los Angeles and hook up with some women and his boys. You know, it's like that song. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. So maybe that's what he's up to this weekend. I don't know. General soreness. Aye, Captain. Here I am. Anyway, but that's what it is. I mean, it's hard to get excited. I mean, Zach LaVine, instead of doing a dunk contest, he's at the 3-point contest, and I predict he's gonna only score 12 points and then call it a night. I mean, it would be more exciting if the Bulls team was good and there was some, improvement,
Right.
but there isn't. It's just like it's just a break for us to see real NBA players perform, and then when the regular season starts again, we're back to seeing this garbage team.
Yeah. So last night we had the rookie sophomore game. Here's a list of the participants. USA won in a landslide. Trae Young, Zion, and John Morant ended up having to set a quasi dunk contest at the end, which was pretty sweet. Luka hit a half court shot. That was pretty nice.
My guy.
At the halftime, that the world team was just overmatched, but a lot of young talent. The league, I think, is in good hands.
Man, I didn't get a chance to watch, but man, I'm sorry. Are you guys aboard with the whole USA versus the world format that they keep doing?
Yes, I like it.
I feel like the world is always overmatched.
Yeah, but if they did East-West, you'd end up with like a lot of people, I guess, snuffed out. I guess this is a concept they can get more people in. And because Mo Wagner, I mean, are you going to really put Mo Wagner in a game?
Well, so how else he's going to get in the game? Yeah,
I would love to see them pick up the format that the rest of the All-Star games are seemingly approaching, and that's you get two captains and then they just pick the team. I would like to see that with the rookie sophomore game. I mean,
good concept.
That is an
interesting concept. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I was gonna just add on to that and say that they had to do away with the rookie versus sophomore thing because they realized that these sophomores are damn good, unless it's LeBron James on the other side of the court. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I loved about the rookie sophomore game when it was just the rookies versus sophomores was you get to see how accelerated and how much of an advantage the second year players have over the rookies. Like you would think that they're still kind of learning about the league, but no, that 1 year in the league makes a difference as opposed to, I don't know, the thought process that having that extra year in college for some of these guys is an advantage. It really isn't. I mean, once you're in the league, you're already on if you do everything you're supposed to, you're already on that accelerated path to make something of yourself.
Right. So like Trae Young and Luka are forever linked by that trade. But I say if that trade doesn't work out, their career paths are totally different.
That's true.
You don't think Luka would have done well with the Atlanta Hawks?
No, I think Luka, with the coaching Carlisle gives him and that Dirk presence in the first year definitely helped. Trae Young, he goes to Atlanta. He knows he's the man of the team. He can jack up his shots, try to get others involved. And John Collins is a rim runner. It takes advantage of his skills in the pick and roll game. And you can see the first to second year jump. Trae Young is a pick and roll maestro, and he's a double team from half court.
And I think that goes back to what Jacob and I were talking about our crappy ass franchises. It's like the excuse is, well, we're picking seventh. Oh, well, we're the next, and we can't even get a favor from David Stern or Adam Silver. But I mean, we're talking about what? It wasn't even wait. Now hold on, I'm getting my timeline mixed up here. Hold on a minute, guys. My point was that I don't remember that being like a upper tier. These were upper tier draft picks, right? Weren't these like late in the first round or in the bottom of the top 10? Yeah. Oh, never mind. Yeah.
They were like 4 and 5.
First 5. Yeah.
Okay. Well, either way, I mean, these are two teams that knew what they wanted and they
Mm-hmm.
went out and got it.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the Bulls are just kind of sitting. Well, we're number 7 again. Oh well. The Knicks, we're number 9. Oh
No,
well. I
no,
guess we're just
well.
stuck here. You know, that was my
Uh-huh.
point. And
Yeah.
it seems like every team seems to have that process in place. Like this is the guy we want, and we're gonna do everything in our power to get it. Meanwhile, the Bulls are like, well, we're just gonna play it safe again, and go
Mhm.
with the guy from Duke. You know, because he's a safe player. They don't get in trouble, but there's not much upside, but they're okay because they know how to play basketball. They come with a high IQ.
Mhm.
So, but then it's like Wendell Carter is a nice complementary piece, but he's not a franchise-saving player.
Yeah.
And same thing with Kevin Knox, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, with him, he's just, and it was either Michael Porter for me or Miles Bridges. Of course, he won the MVP last night, but he plays with more explosiveness than Knox. Knox gets on the floor and he doesn't know where he is. He misses his defensive assignments like nobody's business. He just lollygags down the court. Like, his form isn't broken. He has a nice form. Don't get me wrong. And if he gets it going a little bit, they'll start dropping. But it's the way he plays. Have you seen these players over the years and you just watch him and you're like, dude, how did you even make it? Of course, he's been shadowed, at Kentucky, because they have so many good players. PJ Washington, Malik Monk ran by. That's another one. And I think they would have been better fits for the squad than him. He showed a little bit in summer league. He's penetrating to the rim. He's actually initiating contact. And now it's just after the first year, you're thinking, okay, this kid might have it. All of a sudden, he just can't do anything right. That's why now I see why he's averaging like 10 minutes a game. It got to be a change. But we need more explosive guys like a Levine. You got to get guys that's going to go to the rim. Get that, just draw fouls, go to the line, just space the floor, try to shoot. It's just, I'm sorry to repeat myself. It's irritating. It's really
It is.
irritating.
It is, and that's why I always tell Bulls fans, like, hey, at least we're not the Knicks, because we have some decent players, but they're dumb as bricks. They're really a collection of real stupid basketball players.
Mm-hmm.
But talent-wise, who could argue? We argue. We argued the other day, and we like,
Yes,
I'm sorry, the only 2 players I want from your team was R.J. Barrett and who was the other guy, the second guy?
Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, those are the only 2. Everybody else, you guys can keep everybody else, and I'm pretty sure the reversal role. I'm pretty sure you would take Laurie Marketing on the Knicks right
Absolutely.
now. Zach
Absolutely.
LaVine. I know you're a big fan of Zach LaVine.
That's my guy. But absolutely. But we had a power forward, that could stretch the floor and did pretty well. But I'm not gonna mention his name. But
Morris.
Speaking of which, I will mention his name.
Latvian, the guy, Dennis.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, we had him. Knicks fans, I know. Oh yeah, he didn't want to be here. Well, Phil Jackson wouldn't have pissed him off, and it would have happened.
Well, that guy you're talking about actually won the skills competition.
Yes, I remember. I was hyped. He hit the 3 at the end. I'm like, oh man, the Knicks are on a roll. This might happen. We got rising stars, winning contests. We got a franchise player, and back to square one. Here we go. Must be nice. But
skills competition is tonight.
Yes.
Here are our participants: Bam Adebayo, Patrick Beverley, Spencer Dinwiddie, Chris Middleton, Gilgeous Alexander, Sabonis, Pascal Siakam, and Jason Tatum. We touched on it a little bit last week. I picked Dinwiddie. You picked Adebayo. Felipe, who's your pick?
Yeah, it's always weird, this one, right? Because the big men have surprisingly done very well. Because you would think that the point guards would just take this competition over, but they play so lackadaisical that the big men, they get that extra gear. Like, oh, maybe I actually have a shot to win this. And like you mentioned, Porzingis hits a half-court shot and wins very flukishly, but that's how these skills competition works out, and that's how it's been working now. But I'm gonna go with Patrick Beverley just because it's the hometown kid coming back, and I think Beverley he's actually gonna try to win, unlike the other players who just are trying to not to get hurt. It seems like I think Beverley's gonna go all out and try to win it for the hometown fans.
You do realize Patrick Beverley has to knock down a 3-pointer.
I know. I thought about it. I definitely thought about it, but it's not him trying to make a 3-pointer as much as how many shots he can, how faster he can go around the course and get like that many shots to hit from the 3-point line. If he, Like if he takes 3 shots from the 3-point line, I'm pretty sure he can hit one. That's 33% right there, right?
Well, yeah. He might need 5, so he can get down to 4 pretty fast. So
That's well, yeah. I mean, he's a pretty fast guy, and meanwhile, the big man is just going to be plodding down. Oh, well, then he has to, yeah, he has to face another guard. But I don't know. I'm going to go with the intangibles on this one and say that Beverly is going to be hyped to win this one. Despite the lack of skills, obviously. Sorry, but I think the hometown thing is going to be a factor here. I really do.
My homer pick was going to be Tatum, but I'm going to go Bam. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, Tatum. I can see him, taking it, putting on a show.
I was going to pick Tatum. I was going to pick Tatum before I decided to go foolishly here and with Beverly. But Tatum was like, ooh. I'm looking at Tatum. I'm like, ooh, there's a winner right there. But no. I'll stick with Beverly and go with the intangibles and pick with my heart and not with my mind. So there you go.
In the next competition, we have the 3-point contest. Here are our participants. From the Wizards, Davis Bertans, Devin Booker taking Damian Lillard's place, Devontae Graham, Joe Harris, the reigning champ, Buddy Hield, Zach LaVine, Duncan Robinson, and Trae Young. Last week, I picked Buddy Hield. I figured he was hot. There's no way he could lose. Jacob, you picked Duncan Robinson. Felipe, your pick.
I'm going to go with Buddy Hield as well. When I saw him, his name just kind of, when I saw that he was one of the participants, his name just popped out so easily. And I'm like, oh, this has to be it. This has to be the guy who wins it. I mean, once he goes on a roll, it's hard to stop him. And no disrespect to the other participants, but it's not as strong of a contest as in years past. I know Booker, now that he's in it, he's always a dark horse, but because he's just a scorer, and scorers when they get hot, they're relentless and they can't be stopped either. But with Buddy Hield, like I said, his name popped up off the page to me. I'm like, there's your winner right there. I thought to myself, so I'm gonna go with Hield.
Actually, now that I know Booker is in it, I might have to go away from Robinson because Booker, remember, he set the record. He went up when he won it. He hit 28 in a round? Something like that. He almost went perfect. That guy, once he gets going, it's just he's fire. I mean, he's definitely a better shooter than Buddy Hield. I got to be the devil advocate on this one. He's a better shooter, and once he gets going, forget about it. But I'm gonna go with Booker to come back and actually repeat. Not repeat, but repeat what he did from 2 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, look at the audible here. All right.
I like it. Speaking of guys getting hot, Craig Hodges way back in the day, Larry Bird won 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's a good pick to switch on.
I was gonna say, most importantly, he's part of the Hollywood Jimmy Buckets fantasy basketball team that I run. So I really love that pick. For serious, I really love that pick.
And also, don't forget, he was only the second son to win, rather than the guy from the celebrity game.
Dan Marley.
Yeah, Mr. Q Rich.
Oh, Richardson won that.
Yes,
I forgot about that.
He won 1 year.
Man, Quentin Richardson. He was gonna be the Paul's solutions to all their problems back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
The Paul basketball, college basketball. Him, Bobby Simmons, Lance Williams.
Also, remember they had the little the baby Clippers. Supposed to be
Lob
City with him and Darius Miles. Every little shot they made, but him, Kenyon Dooling, throwing it back a little bit. Corey Maggette.
They made the cover. They made the cover of Slam Magazine, La Familia.
There you go, man.
And so this year they have to change for the 3-point contest. Now it's out of a possible 40 points, with the change being, 1 sec. But you see the layout. They have added a money ball to the wings of each from the middle court was worth 3 points. Uh, in addition to your money ball rack, I believe the green ball was worth 3 points, about 35 feet.
Wow. Interesting.
I like it.
Wow. Oh, all right. I wasn't aware of that rule. It seems like every year they tweak the rules, but you know, it's. I mean, I know for some purists, it makes them angry because it's hard to compare across eras because the rules were different back in the day.
Mhm.
But they do add a little wrinkle. They add a little nuance to these contests, and they keep it fresh. So yeah, I always look forward to the as crazy as it sounds to these little stupid rules that might have players thinking strategy, instead of just going out there and shoot.
Yeah, I do like the money ball rack aspect of it. You can put it anywhere you want. Um, each money ball is worth 2 points. You find your hot spot, you can rack up there. So I like that change in it. So
Yeah, I'm
it's
looking forward to it. I always look forward to these contests. It's hard because it's hard to see which players are going to go in there to take it seriously. But I think the 3 point contest, I think they're actually doing real work, right? It's hard not to have that thought process that these guys are going to take this competition seriously, right?
right.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not the only one. Cool. Oh, by the way, Jacob, Buddy Hield is shooting 30, let's call it 39% from 3 point land. Booker is at 36%. Michael Jordan rules state, last I checked, 39%, 39% beats 36 all the time.
All right, okay. I'll give you that one, but still.
And the last event of All Star Weekend, of All Star Saturday, the dunk contest. Derrick Jones Jr., Pat Connaughton, Dwight Howard, and Aaron Gordon. Last week I picked Dwight Howard. You picked Aaron Gordon last week, Jacob. Felipe, who'd you pick?
Oh man, when I found out that Derrick Jones was going to be on this contest, because first of all, I was hoping that he would be in this contest. Once I found out that he was going to be in this contest, automatically Derrick Jones, he has to win. That's the guy I'm going to be rooting for. That's the guy I'm going to be looking out for. I love Aaron Gordon, but like he had his chance back in the day. I know that that's going to be the redemption story. Like Aaron Gordon lost 2 times in a row to Zach LaVine, and now he's back. The only thing that would have made this contest better is if Zach LaVine would have been in this,
Yeah.
and then we get a part three on this. But I know if you're LaVine, like I have nothing left to prove. I've already beat you twice. So although the second time was very controversial, I thought Gordon should have won it, but. At any rate, that would have been cool to see those guys. I mean, they both are coming back from knee injuries too, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, the thing writes itself. But instead, LaVine's doing the 3 point contest that nobody. I don't think anybody asked for that, except for maybe LaVine. I don't know. Like I say, he's only going to score 12 points and then call it a night. So he's
Exactly.
the anti Devin Booker. But no, I'm excited to see Derrick Jones. Derrick Jones is a highlight reel every single night. It seems like he can go up and get it, and I can't wait to see what creative things he's going to have for us tonight.
I agree. Like one of the most creative dunks I've seen like in history was actually like Cedric Sabal's Hocus Pocus.
Yes.
Jason Richardson was very underrated. I liked his events, but Hocus Pocus to me was something different. A blindfold.
Yeah.
You
Don't forget about
that was my favorite one.
Don't Fake the Funk. Isaiah Ryder
Oh yeah,
came up with that.
yeah.
You
And
know,
then everybody did it.
every year. Pretty much started it off. He was a vicious dunker too. Don't forget
But
about what's else was it? Gerald Green when he did the birthday cake.
Oh yeah, yeah.
the cupcake, yeah.
There you go.
But I mean, let's face it, we're just shooting around the bush. The best of them all was Vince Carter back in 2000. There's no competition. I mean, I watched it the other night. They're doing the whole slam dunk on NBA TV, like the marathons, the slam dunk marathon contest from the All Star game, and they got to the 2000 one with Vince Carter. And first of all, the field is stacked. I mean, Ricky Davis was in it back when he could go up and get it, and Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, Steve Francis. Oh my God, Steve Francis. Any other year he would have won it. Any other year. Jerry Stackhouse. When Carter came in with the reverse 360 dunk. Stackhouse came in with his own like spinning dunk, like I think it was 360 in the air, and nobody cared. Like, but like again, any other year, Stackhouse would have blown the roof off of the arena. But Carter just, it was Carter's night from the get go, and it ended up being Carter's night with like some of the most memorable dunks you're ever going to see in the history of the game. So that will always have a special spot. Also, like I already mentioned, the Levine versus Gordon rivalry from the, I forgot what year it was, but it wasn't too long ago. It seems like it was long ago. I mean, Levine was still a Timberwolf, and but those were pretty epic as well. And I always tell people like, hey, don't sleep on these, man. They're pretty special. I know the star power is lacking. It's not like it was, for example, in 2000 when I just mentioned all those guys' names.
Right.
But the thing I like about these contests is that there's always somebody that kind of like breaks out. You know what I mean? Like people didn't know who Zach LaVine was, and he wins a dunk contest. Now everybody knows who he is, for better or for worse, I guess. Aaron Gordon, we all know that he can get up and jump and get it. Nate Robinson winning it controversially, I guess, but he still won it and was very creative in doing so. So I mean, there's always something special that happens at these contests that I always look forward to.
Yeah, they really bring breakout stars, and it's exciting to watch for the most part.
Yeah, and I urge everybody to check it out, even for a little bit. I mean, it's the whole event. I always tell people like this is what I do for Valentine's Day weekend. We just get some popcorn, sit on our couch, and watch NBA All Star Saturday Night with me and the missus. And it's been ever since we moved in together. That's all we've been doing since 2010, I think. Just Saturday night. That's where we are. I don't want any plans. I don't want to go anywhere. This is where I want to be. I want to be parked on my couch watching the Saturday night festivities. So
It's funny because now we get to Sunday night where the real drama happens.
by then, I've had my basketball fix, so I don't watch. You know what I do is like I think everybody else does it is like I watch until like when I know like that's the second half, like deep in the second half, and that's when the players start taking it a little bit seriously. Although last year was pretty damn good from beginning to end. I really enjoyed it last year.
Yeah, I did too. So they changed the rules in regards to this year to honor Kobe. I forgot which team was wearing 24 and team was wearing 2.
I think LeBron's wearing 2.
Okay. And all of the proceeds are going to charity. Uh, I know you, Felipe, do you have any thoughts on far as the format or Kobe or anything to that effect?
I mean, first of all, the format's confusing as hell. I'm just gonna watch, and they'll have to explain it to me on the fly, and I'll have to pretend that I know what they're talking about. I have no idea why they're going this route. It seems like they want to do it just to increase some interest, maybe get players to take it more seriously. But I don't understand how this, raises the stakes. I love that they're playing for charity. I mean, I'm all for that. I mean, that's, you know, charity. Who's going to argue against charity, right? And it's going to be going to local charities here in Chicago, from what I remember. But everything else is confusing as hell. But again, like, what is it? Every quarter, a team wins. They're going to get that money. The charity of that team is going to win that money. Okay, that's cool.
And the fourth quarter is like a target score of 24. They added, and that's the end of the game. Something
wow.
Weird.
All right.
Not a thing, but
well, I mean, it's kind of fitting because they're playing up to 24. I always thought that Kobe was was the greatest 21 champion of all time. I'm not gonna hide it. I am a renowned Kobe hater. I've been hating on him since he got drafted. And with all that being said, as much as I didn't enjoy the guy or didn't like the guy or had this disdain for the guy, his death really touched me hard. It hit me incredibly hard. It's like, I was talking to my friend Katie. We were doing the podcast for the Pop Culture Life group, and I was talking to her as we were preparing for that show, and it seemed like, man, I can't believe how young he died, and I honestly thought I was going to hate on him for the rest of his life. And she put it very succinctly and very very appropriately, telling me, yeah, you basically lost your arch enemy, and now you're kind of empty without him. And she's right. It's like, he was part of my yang to my yin. It's the whole yin and yang. You can't have darkness without light. You can't have hate without love. Evil versus without good. It's all related. It's all connected. And I guess in some weird way, I had that connection with Kobe Bryant, even though I didn't want to admit it to myself. And I saw the slam dunk contest where he won it in his rookie year. I mean, there's Brandy on the stands. Even at 18 years old, he was bigger than life. And usually, back before this happened, I would just kind of have a scowl on my face. They should have given it to Chris Carr. You know, but seeing him win it actually, it was a very special moment. I got to appreciate his impact at such an early age, and yeah, and then you add the daughter and who also passed away with them. Man, that sucks, man. That really hurts. It's one thing to, I don't know, man. It left me kind of wounded on the inside, if that makes any sense. It really did affect me, which I didn't think it was going to affect me, but it really did. It still does. I'm finding it very difficult to keep my composure just talking about it. But I guess in some weird way, I'm going to miss him, despite the fact that I never appreciated him while he was still alive. But we'll see what the next chapter with my thought process on Kobe Bryant. We'll see where that takes me in his passing. One thing I will say about Kobe Bryant is that he was always from what I've read, he was always a good mentor to the younger players and especially to the women. As you guys know, I try my best to watch the women's games as well, give them the support that they deserve. And I get excited whenever I see people posting about the WNBA. And Kobe Bryant was a big, what do you call it?
Advocate.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Big advocate for the WNBA, the women's league, and you know, for good reason. I mean, he has 4 daughters. He wants to make sure that there's a league for them. When for example, when Gianna would grow up, and unfortunately, it looked like she was on her way at only 13 years old, and now we're not going to see that. The WNBA could have used that Gianna Bryant when she was old enough to join that league, because name power, name recognition. You got a benefactor in Kobe Bryant. And I'm pretty sure the other daughters would have wanted to play as well. I don't know what's going to happen to, he always talks about legacy. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with the rest of his kids, but I mean, that was it right there. They had it's a lot of, I'm rambling on here. I'm sorry, guys, but it was a very, it just affected, like the dominoes fell. And sorry. The other thing I wanted to mention, like you could tell, like the young NBA players who were really affected by this, because like a guy like Trae Young, who we just mentioned, Devin Booker, they got training from Kobe. Like he mentored them. And I even told this to Randy in privately. Like, well, that's one big difference I'll give you about Kobe Bryant. Outside the court, he seemed like a really cool dude. And unlike Michael Jordan, he actually wanted to help young players and not try to embarrass them and humiliate them. So props to Kobe on that one. So it's like I said, it's a very complicated relationship I have with Kobe over the years.
Yeah, it's tough because you saw the encore persona as him as real hard on with the relationships, like I said, with Powell and Shaq.
Yeah.
Off the court, mentoring Trae Young and Jason Tatum, taking their games to another level.
Kyrie too.
It was refreshing to see. Yeah, Kyrie.
Yeah.
He's sorely going to be missed.
Yeah, I mean, ironically for me, yeah, I'm gonna miss the guy. And like I said, I've been watching a lot of the old clips, and I'm starting to grow a little bit of an appreciation. Maybe with time, I'll finally put him in my top 20 list. That was supposed to be a joke.
Cut him right now.
So, with that said, I did say you were a man of many hats. You run our fantasy league.
Oh God!
In the Ballers Life group.
I do.
Where are we in that? Because I have no idea.
Oh, well, you better, because as one of the worst teams in the league, you got to play for that first pick overall next year. This is a keeper league, right? Leon, I'm actually going to ask you. You have the worst team of the league, right? For next year, we'll get to keep one player and one player only, without giving away too many clues. Because I want to make sure that that no one catches on to your strategy for next season. Do you have any idea who you're gonna keep from this one-win team of yours?
Well, I'd actually have to look at the roster because all right, here's the backstory.
Oh, okay. I want to hear the excuses. Let's go.
Here's the backstory.
Okay.
So my ESPN app wasn't working around the
Mine
time of the
wasn't either.
draft. So my entire team was auto drafted. And about, I'd say 3, 4, 5 weeks in, it started to work. And once I finally saw my team, I didn't like it. I made about 4 or 5 moves, and then I had one player on the bench who remains on the bench because I keep forgetting that Monday afternoon after start, I have to set my lineup. And
Yeah, you're a hot mess.
if I don't set my lineup by Monday, I'm already screwed. So the week is already lost. So it's not that I don't have any idea what I'm doing; it's that I completely forgot.
You're terrible. Well, first of all, thank you for donating the money. I really appreciate that. But look at this. Okay, well, now you can at least fix your lineup right now for next week. I mean, you got Wendell Carter still playing. He has a big O on his thing. I forgot what was his injury, but Dario Saric, who I haven't heard about all year. Clint Capella, who's also listed as out. I mean, it's like I tell my buddy Matt Bushnell, these are fixable items. You can fix it. And and from that list, you got to figure out who you're going to keep for next year. And I guess based on what you're telling me, I guess you're not even going to get the first pick overall next year either. So you just played yourself right there.
So when you run into the problem, once I came in too late, all the players available to pick up already gone. So I'm already like 3 steps behind.
Well, you know what, Leon, I'll give you some advice, man. The best way to make up for that 3 steps being behind is by taking 1 step forward. Huh?
So Monday morning, I will double check. Matter of fact, triple check.
There you go.
Make sure my lineup is set straight.
Hell, you can't even do it Sunday night, man. That's what I do.
No, I'm watching Homeland Sunday night. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I got Homeland and Curb. That window is booked.
You can do it on your phone. That's what I do. But I'm not gonna tell you how to run your life. I think okay. So the first round runs through. Looks like it runs through March 1st. But but it's kind of complicated because it's a 2-week matchup, right?
Yeah.
So because of the All-Star game, it kind of gets in the way. But it looks like the next lineup change will be due February 24th, and that will be the second week of the round 1. So I'm assuming that people can make mid-round changes in case anybody gets hurt or whatever reason. You have that second chance to make your lineup changes on February 24th, as we're compiling as many points as we can in a 2-week span for these playoffs. So when people ask me, "Oh, why are you starting your playoffs early?" Well, number 1 is because I want to get ready for fantasy baseball. Number 2, I mean, if you look at it, it's gonna take us all the way through March, late March. So the baseball season should be starting by then, and since it's 2 weeks for every round, that should give us enough ample amount of time to not only see these players play at their high level, like no excuses. Oh, it's the last game of the season. Screw this. No, they should still be playing hard, even in late March. So that's why I do it this way. Like so, and it's in 16 regular season games. That's kind of like the NFL. So I kind of like that aspect of it as well. So yeah, I'm hoping you guys had a lot of fun despite the fact of all the trip ups on Leon's part. But I hope you guys had fun with the layout of this league. And like I said, we're playing for a banner. We're playing for something simple. We're playing for that championship banner that's gonna hang up on your wall. So maybe not Leon, but maybe if Jacob's lucky enough, he can have it on his on the podcast next week or at the end of the year. You can hang it up on the Stepback podcast every week.
I had a good year. I'll say that. I would check it right now, but for some reason, somebody signed into their ESPN freaking account, and I'm trying to find out how to sign out, and I can't even find it.
Oh my God. Well,
So
you better figure it out because you have a really good team, but man,
no.
Even...
I'm talking about like checking it right now. I have it on my phone, but I'm using my phone for this.
Oh, so... I see what you're saying.
Oh yeah.
I mean, do you like your chances, Jacob, for that championship?
I do. I mean, with Harden, Kyrie has to start playing. Like, jeez, man, what do you do? I know I won't have him.
Don't count on it.
For some reason, I just don't get it. But I tried to construct just a balanced team, and I did this year. I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, I like your team. I mean, Kemba Walker, James Harden, Brandon Ingram is there's a guy we should
Absolutely.
doesn't get enough play. Wait,
Hmm.
let me ask you, Jacob, how's Brandon Ingram doing now that Zion Williamson's in he's taking effect on that team right now?
He's taking a little step back, but I like it because then I can like actually make him become more of a playmaker as well with Drew. So I like it. You knew once Zion came back, he was going to be that's the guy that everybody was going to focus on. But that's going to open up the floor to Brandon as well because he can stroke the three. You know, he can get to the lane. You little drive and kick. Zion can shoot too. Surprised the hell out of me because I hate his form. Always have. Always will. But yeah, he's still doing well. He's going to be a 20-point per game. You know, 4 assist kind of guy. Maybe he can get up to about 7, 8 rebounds. I want to see him build a little bit more muscle because he is KD, twiggy, skinny, and get that. Come on, hit the gym, man. But he can play.
Man, I'm looking at your squad right now, and you have a deeper bench than I do. Like my bench is just filled with projects, and this late in the year. I mean, I'll tell you who's on my bench right now. My bench is Ennis Cantor, who I drafted as my second center, and I'm regretting it every day. Uh, Darius Garland, who he sometimes he looks amazing and other times he looks awful.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Porter Jr., who I'm lucky if he gets 24 minutes, and he's hurt again. So
Oh,
Shabazz Napier, who every time I want to cut him, he does something with the Wizards. I think I'm going to cut him soon, though. I
honestly, I
think,
would because he's too
yeah,
inconsistent.
yeah. I mean, he was great when he was a starting point guard with the Timberwolves for that one
Yeah.
week. And let's see, Malik Beasley. Like I said, he kind of just was sitting on the bench on the waiver wire, and I was like, well,
Mm-hmm.
there should be more opportunities for him. And
He's
my
pretty good.
guy, I'm sorry, what?
No, he's pretty good. Malik Beasley's pretty good. I would keep
Yeah.
him around.
Speaking of guys who wear many hats, you root for the Timberwolves too, right, Jacob?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's more of a KG kind of thing. Like I never just went away from the team. I still follow them. You know, when the Knicks aren't on, I have league pass, so I'll just go to Timberwolves, see how they're playing. Still kind of mad about the Russell thing because I actually want the Knicks to get a point guard, but yeah, they suck too, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's
No, I saw that Joey kind of made a jab at me, for calling me fan of many, kind of calling me a fan of many teams. I'm waiting for him to chime in. Oh, look at Jacob, fan of many teams too. What a traitor! How come you don't? Where's your criticism about that? How come I'm the one who gets criticized? I only have 5 teams to root for.
And it just like I said, it's more of a KG thing, and I do,
Yeah,
you know. But the Knicks are number one. I have enough trouble with them, and
yeah.
hoping to God I get some kind of freaking joy. Blake likes the Knicks. He said that's his favorite team. Poor kid.
Oh man.
I was just hoping just the Mets, but yeah, he likes the Knicks for some reason. Poor kid.
Oh man. Bad news.
Listen, he did it to himself.
All right, Leon. I was gonna ask you, do you have a second team like Jacob does?
No. One team only. Nets.
What about a league pass team?
No, I can't say what I do.
What about like one of your favorite players that is not on the Nets? Do you follow
So
anybody in particular?
no, I'm more of a league person. So like growing up, my favorite players were Magic, Olajuwon, and Dennis Rodman.
Hmm.
But as we got like later, then it kind of switched over to Ray Allen. But after that, I can't say that I could follow a player. I like LeBron and all, but I wouldn't like go out of my way to watch him.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. But no, as you talk about Rodman and we go back to the '90s Bulls. Oh, I was a big fan of Scottie Pippen. Like, obviously, I like Jordan. Thank you for the championships. You're an asshole though. But Pippen, I used to like get excited anytime Pippen did anything. And then they brought in Dennis Rodman, and at that time, and still to this day, when I was growing up, I was always picked last. I think for basketball, like nobody wanted to be on my team because I had no offensive game whatsoever. Layups were a hurdle that I couldn't overcome. You know,
Mhm.
I couldn't shoot. I'm can't dribble. I'm very, I love playing basketball, but I'm very bad at it. And then Dennis Rodman comes to Chicago. Well, first of all, I discovered Dennis Rodman when he was with the Spurs. Then he
Mhm.
comes to Chicago, and like all bets are off. I started playing that type of style of game. Like I may not be good at offense, but I can rebound. I can out jump anybody else. I can out rebound. I'll outwork you on the boards. I don't care how big you are. Like I took a lot of bruises and beatings because I wanted to be that guy. My glasses broke several times because I wanted to be Dennis Rodman. I would set picks. I would do the whole pick and rolls and all that stuff just because I saw that that's how Dennis Rodman would do it sometimes. Um, so yeah, Dennis Rodman. I always have a special place in my heart for Dennis Rodman because he taught me like you don't have to be my Lou or anything like that to play playground basketball.
Mhm.
You could play that mental aspect of the game. And oh my god, I used to piss people off so much for just by playing his style. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
people would like meet me afterwards and see if they wanted to fight me, and I always like either ran away or just talk my way out of it. So I love the Worm, man. I'm so glad you mentioned it. It's brought back a lot of good memories for me right now.
Yeah, yeah, that was my guy. I could shoot a little bit, but you can't teach hustle, so that was something that just stood out to me.
Yeah, like I said, people hated me because I was the only one trying to play defense.
Yeah, in a game of 21, you're like the only guy like hustling. Like, what
Mhm.
are
Oh,
you like? What are you doing?
bro, I was the only idiot who would guard every single ball play, like ball handler. Like if you have the ball, that's my guy. That's my guy. Like, and I think the unwritten rules of 21 is the last guy who missed the shot has to defend, right? At
Mhm.
least that's how we played it. And my
Right.
dumbass would always be the one guarding everybody. No, I got him. I got him. I got him. And not knowing that, well, by me guarding him, I now can't get the ball back.
Yeah.
But I would have messed up with the ball anyway. So who cares?
Plus, you tire yourself out, and usually
Yeah,
the guy with like 19 or 18 or whatever, the whole everybody's guarding him. So
yeah,
that's how it usually works out.
yeah. Well,
Mhm.
I wanted to be the first one right there, front and center. I got this guy. He's not gonna score on me. They usually did, but no. At least I die with that sword in hand. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Oh my god, 21. Oh man, I haven't played that in a long time.
Yeah.
You guys still hoop over there?
Leon does more than I do. Like I want to get back into it. I miss playing. It's just hard to get games up here for some reason because it'll be
Hmm.
really nice outside, and then nobody's playing. Cause being from like the city, we grew up in Queens. A nice day, even 60 degrees, people out there playing in the park. Up here, you just like, what the hell is going on? That's why I kind of miss it. With me and Leon,
Yeah,
we were called the Twin Towers back then. We weren't the tallest, but we always they hated us being on the same team because we knew how each other played,
yeah.
and we would do this little play, and it would work every single time. Leon would come down from the left side of the court. I would run down to the right. The person would jump in front of him, but easy layup.
Easy,
And
easy.
his hook shot, he hated it.
Yeah, we also
I
ran that pick and roll to perfection.
Yep.
So
Nobody can guard the
uh,
pick and roll. And then we had our specialty shots. Leon had the hook shot, and as much as I hated MJ, I took his fade away because every time, and Leon to this day, I can still hit it. End of the game, I'm going to the fadeaway and I'm making
yeah, I'll be honest, I can't guard it.
it. Your hook shot and you're up and under. I give you that. You
Yeah,
still use
see that up and under I took from Olajuwon, all that fake here,
Nice.
left side, up and under. So
Leon,
it was
how
fun.
tall are you, man? How tall are you?
I'm only like 6 feet.
Oh, okay. Well, you're still taller than me, but I mean, okay, because you're talking about hook shot and twin towers. I mean, I'm like, damn, is he taller than I think he is? But the 6 feet's about average, or a little bit above average.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so like way back when we were a bit taller than everyone else in the neighborhood. So
Yeah.
it kind of worked out.
Basketball's over there, bro.
Yeah. So
And
yeah,
how
we
often
were
do you
taller.
play? How often do you
Uh,
play, Leon?
I play like 2, 3 times a week in the gym now because it's 25 degrees out. Right now it's 15, but 2 or 3 times a week, try to keep myself active, make
Yeah.
sure I don't lose it.
Man, I mean, you guys talking about you guys have your specialty shots. I never had the specialty shot. I think I learned really late in my basketball playing days that like depending like if like because I was always the tallest guy among my friends, right? So they insisted that I should always play in the paint, and I didn't like that because it was very uncomfortable. But it only made sense, right? I wasn't doing anything else anyway. So I had a good friend of mine teach me like a back to the basket move, like the most basic back to the basket move ever. Like if you got your back to the basket, the guy's defending you, has your forearm on you. I'm so sorry. His forearm is on you. Depending on which forearm, you can kind of feel on your back which forearm it is. You can
Hmm.
go the opposite way. Like you go to the direction of his elbow,
Right.
and you're gonna unbalance him every single time and get an easy layup. With me, it's a little bit challenging because I'm very uncoordinated. I think the thing that makes me so uncoordinated is that I think I was born left-handed, but because my family's Catholic, being left-handed is a mark of the devil.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to learn how to be right-handed, and to this day, I remember when I was trying out for the basketball team in high school, I was like practicing with medicine balls, and a coach yells at me like, "Why do you not have good form? What are you talking about?" I says to him, "Well, I mean, first of all, are you left-handed or right-handed?" "Well, I'm right-handed." "Well, why do you have a left-handed stance?" And I look down on my feet, and I go up to him and I go, "I don't know." But that's when it dawned on me like maybe that affected my athleticism or my skills wise or anything like that. It might
It
have
could.
affected me negatively.
It could
So
have.
that's I feel like that's the reason I don't have like I'm very uncoordinated on the basketball court. But like I said, I could do everything else, like that has nothing to do with scoring or ball handling or making plays for others.
Right. So it's funny you mentioned that because I'm naturally right-handed, but I'm only a lefty when I play basketball.
Interesting,
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
interesting.
So
I'll
it
tell you
throws a
what.
lot of people off.
Well, yeah, because I tell you what, I feel like I'm more comfortable shooting with my left hand, like in terms like when I'm 5 feet around the basket.
Hmm.
Like people would get my teammates would get mad. Why are you shooting it that way? I don't know. I felt like it was a move to make, like to go left-handed, and I felt more natural shooting with my left hand than I did with my right hand. From at least from 5 feet from the basket. So it's kind of funny you mentioned that. So I'm not the only one.
Right. So that's why a lot of those post moves work. Since I'm naturally right-handed, uh,
Hmm.
pretty close to the basket, I can get the shot up. But I have all the moves working left-handed with the hook shot, the scoop. I could do a fadeaway if I want. So it left the defense kind of like off balance.
Yeah,
So that's why it kind of worked out. But yeah, I see where you're going with that.
man. I wish I was like you, man. I don't have anything to brag about except like I could grab a rebound. I could box out. I know how to box out. I know how to do
I
that.
wouldn't brag. I never made any of my like school teams. I tried out way back in elementary. I was cut then because way back when you had to like score in order to make the team.
Yeah,
And I mean, I could score a little bit, but it's
yeah.
not like blow you away offensive moves. I was more like fundamentally sound, and
Well,
some coaches didn't really like that.
I tell you what, man. If I was still healthy, if my knees were good and my shoulders weren't disjointed at this point, I would really look forward to visiting you guys in New York and getting a pickup game going. Just a simple, friendly game. But I
That'll
know
be fun.
that would be fun. But I know that I would be very limited, and my dumbass would be like the competitive juices would get going, and I said, "Fuck this," and I'm just gonna start hacking you guys and start taking it seriously. And next thing you know, I'm going to the hospital for those injuries that it was a non-contact injury. I don't know what happened. No one touched them, like, and I'm on the floor crying, like, "Oh, this hurts." But
Yeah, it's like Derrick Rose coming in life form.
oh man, you know what? As much as I make fun of Derrick Rose, yeah, I'm like Derrick Rose on crack when it comes to the injuries. But at the same time, I don't make millions of dollars to be an athlete either. So
It's true.
That
apples
is
and
true.
oranges. Oh man. Oh man. We're like over an hour. We have one more topic, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, we can run over the mid-season awards so you give them
Yep.
out to real fast.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's do lightning round. Leon, go ahead. Dude, go ahead.
okay, so MVP, who you guys have? Jacob.
Giannis.
Giannis.
Yeah.
I will go a little bit differently. I mean, obviously it's Giannis, but uh, I'm going Bradley Beal of the Wizards if I had to if they make the playoffs. John Wall
Oh,
out. If he can carry them to an eighth spot, I can see getting a few votes his way.
I'm
Yep,
rooting for Luka Doncic
that's a problem.
for obvious reasons, obviously.
I like
Coach of
it.
the year. Who you guys have?
For the East, I'm gonna go with Budenholzer because the record means everything. So my sleeper would be Spo.
Hmm.
Definitely got to go with Spoelstra. That would be my sleeper because the Heat they're one of those teams that can go straight to the finals. And for the West, I'm gonna go with Vogel. He's done an excellent job with that team. Yeah, you got LeBron and AD, but putting it together and watching what he does to prepare those guys, watching a little bit of NBA TV, and they show like practices and stuff like that, and how he prepares them to go into each game and how they put it together on the floor. I'm going with Vogel. New York
Uh,
bias too.
I think I'm gonna go with. I think Jacob. I'm gonna go with you at this. Budenholzer seems to be the obvious choice.
Mm-hmm.
Vogel in the West. Maybe who's the Raptors coach? Is it Nick Nurse? Is that his name?
Yeah,
Oh, Nick
Nick Nurse.
Nurse. Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
yeah. I mean, people love that narrative that even without Kawhi, that team still has pretty much the same record as last year without
Mm-hmm.
Kawhi. And in the West, is it still Post Malone for the Denver Nuggets?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, what's the dude's name for the Denver
Mike
Nuggets?
Malone.
Mike
Mike
Malone.
Malone.
I was in the
That
right path.
man said Post Malone. That's awesome.
I mean, if anybody is to have, I'm pretty sure that's like everybody's like league pass team, right? The team that everybody stays up for a little bit to watch. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
their team is so much fun to watch. Everybody's a threat to score, especially Jamal Murray, who I'm a huge fan of, and you got the Joker, Nikola Jokic,
Mm-hmm.
who just won an Oscar for Best Actor over there too. So, um, good for him. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with the obvious choice being Budenholzer and Vogel, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nurse and Malone sneak away with this one either as the dark horses.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'd go with Brad Stevens over in Boston,
Mm.
where he was able to deal with the departure of Kyrie, bring in Kemba, develop his young guys, and still win some games without a center. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's done an excellent job over there. Out west, I'd go with Billy Donovan of the Thunder, Chris
Oh,
Paul,
Okay. Okay.
and his young guns over there,
Shy.
Gilgeous Alexander, Gallinari, Steven Adams, those guys with a sixth spot
Mm-hmm.
right now. I mean, 33 wins won't get you coach of the year, but I think Billy Donovan's done
I like
an
it.
excellent job.
I like that.
you think he would split that award with Chris Paul?
Oh.
I mean, everywhere Chris Paul goes to, he just knows how to play with
He's a winner.
everybody. He plays well with others, and he's a winner. Yeah.
I don't know about play well with others, but he definitely
Well,
acts.
I mean, he makes it work. I'm sorry, you
Yeah,
know what I mean. That's what I meant. He makes it work. I don't think Chris Paul. I don't remember the last time Chris Paul had a losing record
me
with
either.
his teams.
Yeah, that's true.
You know
He'll
what I mean?
definitely
He's
tell
the
Billy Donovan he has an assist. So
Mm-hmm.
State Farm. No, but Billy Donovan too. I mean, I guess we can get past that point where he's just a college coach and he's not gonna make it in the NBA. I guess we can get past that point and say he's pretty damn good NBA coach at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Well, absolutely.
uh, six man of the year. Felipe, who you got?
My guy Dennis Schroeder.
Ah,
I'm a big. I used to love that. I used to have high hopes for him when he was at the Atlanta Hawks. I even did a spreadsheet with like players who only average about 20 minutes a game, and but that could maybe show potential to be more than just that. And he was on that list, and eventually that finally came to fruition as soon as he got traded to the Thunder. And I think because every year it seems like Lou Williams is going to win it, but if we're going to go outside the box a little bit, I think they should give
Right.
it to Dennis Schroeder, backing up Chris Paul and the other guy with the three names. I forgot.
sorry, Gilgeous Alexander.
That guy.
Yep.
Yeah, playing behind those guys, and Dennis Schroeder, fast and very energetic and active. I'm glad that he's finally putting it together over there.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Who you got, Jacob?
I'm gonna quote Drake. 6 men like Lou Will. This year I can't. I think he's averaging 19 and a half points. He's shooting 41%. He's averaging 5 assists per game.
Mm.
35 from the three. So I think it's either going to be him or his teammate Pharrell. But I think it's Lou
Yeah.
Will. Definitely got to go with Lou Will this year. I'm looking. I just watching him play. The guy comes off. He's an instant bucket. He's a microwave, whatever you want to call him. He's taking it again. It'll be his third straight if he wins it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Goran Dragic of the Heat.
Oh wow.
He's instant buckets off the bench. Uh, real nice backup. Really solidifies that second unit. Justice Winslow was supposed to be that guy, never on the floor. Um, obviously with Jimmy buckets, he brought his game to another level. I like Dragic for that six man.
I like it. I like it.
I have a question for you guys. Without looking it up, how old do you think Lou Williams is?
33.
Leon?
I'd say 32.
Oh, okay. For me, I thought he was like 36, but yeah, you guys are right. He's only 33 years old.
He's been in the league for a little bit.
Yeah, he's been since. I didn't realize he was drafted back in 2005. Kind of interested. Well, that was the we just mentioned the Chris Paul draft, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, Darren Williams, and yeah, he's. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I'm so sorry. I did not mean that, Leon. I'm so sorry.
No, you meant it. I love it.
No. I was purely no. You got me all wrong. That was purely unintentional. My bad.
I'll do it intentionally because I can't stand him.
Hey, okay, you know what? Darren Williams, he has a special place here in Illinois because he's the face of that last good run for them.
Yes, that was a good run. Oh, yeah.
And they've sucked ever since.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, he has a special place here in Brooklyn, too.
He gets to Brooklyn, gets a little punchier, and yeah.
I'm going to calm down a little bit.
Well, hey, I tell you what, Leon, you can always get back at Jacob. He mentioned earlier about Raymond Felton, but here in Chicago, at least in my little circle, we known him as Raymond Felon because of the gun charge that he had back in.
Yes, I remember that.
So yeah, we started calling him Raymond Felon.
Listen, in Chicago, man, you got to carry the strap, man.
Is that what it was? Well, hey, I'm strapless, man. I'm strapless. I walk comfortably in my city, man.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's what you want to be.
And our last award, most improved player. Here's what you got.
I got my man Bam Adebayo. He hands down, not close. The guy has gone from virtual unknown to and just a rebounder and blocker to a shot maker, shot taker. He does everything, and I definitely got to go with Bam. He gets on the floor, and you see the difference in that team. So I'm going with Bam.
The Jimmy Butler effect. I hear you.
Absolutely.
And I'll go with Kelly Oubre, who he's finally playing over 30 minutes a game. And I gotta admit, I'm really bad at figuring out who's improving because my brain doesn't function that way. I can't tell you who was bad and who was good this year. I think if you're in the league, you have potential to be good. It's just I can't. So when I see a player like everybody's saying oh my God, he's doing better than last year, or he's so much improved than last year, I go, oh well, that's what's his face from that team. He went to Duke, and yeah, I always expected him to be this good. But obviously, that's not how it works. Yeah, when you're averaging, I don't know, 6 points a game and only 18 minutes a game. Yeah, if you make that jump to like 25 and scoring 12, that's an improvement, right? But my brain doesn't function that way. But with Kelly Oubre, he's averaging 2 more points per game this year. Everything else is about the same. Free throw percentage is up. Effective field goal percentage is up. 3-point percentage is 36%, way up. Career high right now. Field goal percentage is up. I mean, everything. His shooting is going up, and the big one is he's now being trusted to play over 30 minutes a game. So that's a step in the right direction for the kid, and the reason why the other reason I don't think that he's improved is because he's always been someone I keep an eye on for fantasy basketball. So, but I guess when you're in the middle of things, you don't notice those improvements until you take a step back. You take a step back, and you see like, oh wow, he really is making those strides to be better. And like I said, he's almost averaging 35 minutes a game, and those are some heavy minutes in today's NBA.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Devontae Graham of the Charlotte Hornets.
Gunner.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He showed out a bit last night. Real automatic, limitless range. I mean, granted, the Hornets are pretty bad, but they are stepping somewhat in the right direction with their backcourt with Graham, Monk, and now Miles Bridges. So I like what Graham is bringing to the table. He undrafted, really showing out, averaging what, 20 points a game, shooting a high
Cool.
percentage from 3-point range. So
Mhm.
I'm going with Graham.
That's a good pick, actually. I like that.
Mark,
I like that one a
yeah,
lot.
that's pretty good. Good one.
I know we ran a bit over time,
So
but
what?
it's been fun talking to you guys.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's my fault. I haven't
No,
talked about the NBA in a long time, and I'm so glad you guys gave me the privilege to be on this show and get a lot on my chest. Just get it all out on my chest.
That was good.
Although I'll be honest, when I saw the rundown for today's show, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna definitely go over an hour.
yeah.
You're welcome. Nah, it was good. I liked it. Good discussion. Can't wait for the second half to start. See what the future, especially last night. It was Generation Next. You're gonna see the guys taking over the league. And hey, one of the guys is on the Knicks. Who
For
thought?
For now.
Yeah. Listen, don't spoil my happiness. He went to Duke. He's doing well. I'm smiling from ear to ear. Just let it happen. Let me have this, Philippe. Let me have this. All right.
For now.
It's not really bad enough. I got to see the Nets in the playoffs, but.
And you mentioned Generation Next. I mean, this is a new decade. All the superstar players like LeBron James and those guys, they're getting older, they're aging,
Mhm.
and it's gonna be their time pretty damn soon if it's not
Mhm.
already. With
Mhm.
Doncic being so exciting, Trae Young being so exciting to watch. Yeah, I don't know. When people tell me that the NBA's trash or they're in trouble and this and that, oh man, it's. I think this is where this is the place to be. It's the funnest league out of all of them.
Mhm.
I mean, we just talk glowingly about all these players who most people probably don't even know who they are at this point. But we talk glowingly. We talk about some of their personality. We talk about their skills. I mean, I mean, it goes back to the '90s, right? It's fantastic. Honestly, I don't see why people bitch about it because it's the most approachable sport of all the sports, all the major four sports that are out there.
Right. They're not wearing a helmet, and the major guys in MLB.
Mhm.
I mean, my face, but it's 25 guys to a team.
And not only that, but when you're kind of pimping your skills out there, you're not going to get drilled by a 90-mile-per-hour fastball.
Mhm.
So I think that has a lot to do with it as well. That these guys you can see their emotions, you can see how they express themselves, and they're encouraged to speak their mind, and
That's true.
it's very personable. In a social media world, they're very social media savvy as well. So
Yeah, because you get to actually celebrate. Trae Young with his new little ice cold thing that he does when he hits the three. You got James Harden.
yeah,
Steph Curry does what he does when he hits it. I like that kind of stuff. And you make it fun. I mean, everybody, when you hit a three, you see throwing up the threes. They got their little bench mob stuff going on. The league is really fun. I just don't get it. And then I hate the whole, they're not athletes. All they do is dribble a ball. If you can do that, if you can do what they do, go and do it.
yeah, I can't do it. I mean, I tried, and after a while, I get heart attacks if I try too hard. Yeah, I know that hockey. I know the hockey fans. That was the most skilled, and that one requires so much. Yeah, I get it. But of all the sports that I play football. I definitely play football. Not baseball, but I play softball. I mean, obviously, baseball is like the easiest one, right, compared to the other sports. But basketball for me was always the most demanding on my body. I'll be honest. That was always the most demanding sport for me.
We've learned a lot about Felipe besides his face.
I know.
It's very. I'm very intrigued.
Very.
I would love to see. Yeah,
kick his ass in
I'd
basketball.
like to see. Yeah, I'd love to see him come down and get a few hoops.
You guys think I'm gonna let you kick my ass?
I mean, it's just gonna happen either way if it happens.
Well, I mean, that's the fact that you're saying it like I'm just gonna allow it. I'm not. I'm gonna allowance. I'll allow you to feed off this earth, motherfucker. I'm not gonna let you just feed me. You're gonna have to work hard for it. You're gonna get every inch of me, Jacob. Every inch.
Pause.
I was wondering how you would react, and that's as good as it gets for me right there.
No, that was good. No, that'd be cool. It'd be cool to meet up though, but that's one of the things I was talking about on the bucket list. I want to go to an All-Star weekend. Because it would mean a lot to actually go. Basketball was the first sport I actually started to follow. Mm-hmm. And I want to see something like that. Just the excitement, the dunk contest, 3 points. I can care less about the celebrity game. I can skip that. But everything else, man, I'm planning on doing that. And I do plan on making a trip out to Chicago, by the way, doing that.
Let me know.
I'll definitely let you know.
I'll take off work along with you. However long you're here, we'll definitely do some things, man.
It'll be fun. Definitely
Absolutely.
Be fun.
Leon, you too, man. I like to see you guys all here present in my city, and I'll do my best to showcase my town a little bit.
Do we need bulletproof vests?
I don't have one. I don't have one. I don't need one. But I know my friends are saying, well, Felipe's from the suburbs. Like, well, I mean, I'm still in Cook County.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean that we call it Crook County for a reason. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, this has been a fun episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had a blast. Like I said, I am privileged that you guys have me for the second episode. Anytime you guys want to talk about 90s nostalgia basketball, I'm there. I have a lot of thoughts about the 90s basketball compared to today's game. So if you guys ever have that episode, I am there front row center to talk about it with you guys some more. Other than that, I look forward to the next one for next week and just being a audience member as opposed to being up front and center with you guys. But so, like I said, thank you for approaching us with this idea to have this podcast for the basketball group. I think it needed one, and I'm glad you guys are going to be the showrunners for this for the next foreseeable future.
Oh, thanks a lot. You can catch our next episode in 2 weeks. We will cover the college basketball tournament then.
Nice.
Get everybody's thoughts on that. Maybe start up a group bracket.
Yes.
And we'll get that ball rolling. For Leon Tompkins, Jacob Moses, and Felipe Melecio.
Mm-hmm.
Did I get that right?
Yeah.
I'd like to thank you for tuning in. Catch you on the flip side.
Well.